Apple released the AirPods Max over a year ago in December of 2020. And when my brother first bought his pair, he let me listen to them, and I can tell you that I was totally blown away by the sound quality. And now that we're in 2020, I have finally caved and I bought my own personal pair of AirPods Max. So in this video, what I'm gonna do is explain why I finally caved after so long, and I'm gonna share my experience and my review over the past couple of weeks that I've owned these, and then I'm gonna explain why I think I may have made a mistake and why I might actually return them. But before we get into all of that, let's first start off with my story and why I finally decided to buy these AirPods Max. Now, the first time I heard them, I really wanted to buy them. But the problem was that we just spent a bunch of money on remodeling my house, so I couldn't afford it back then, and I've been really craving it ever since then, but I could never justify the price because, I mean, $550 is a ton of money to give for a pair of headphones. And if you want a completely honest reason for why I finally bought these, well, there are actually two of them. First of all, these are finally on sale on Amazon for a really good price, $479, so it's definitely a good discount. And the second reason is that I actually got a Christmas bonus, so I could finally justify it, because it's kind of like a bonus with work and all that, so I finally bought these because of the bonus. But don't worry, that's actually not the only reason, because the recent reviews for the AirPods Max have actually been getting a lot more positive, with people saying that the reliability has been getting better, the software, and even the sound quality improvements themselves, and new features like the spatial audio, with all of that making for a much better product compared to when these initially launched. So with that said, let me finally get into my experience in my review of these after owning them for the first couple of weeks. Well, first of all, the sound quality is very impressive. The bass is good, the highs are good, and it actually is better than when I first heard them over a year ago. Now, on top of that, the new spatial audio feature works incredibly well, and it just blows my mind how it sounds like you're in the room or you're in the auditorium or in the studio with all the sounds coming from different locations around you, and it's just so immersive. And to be honest, it kind of gives for like this emotional or kind of connected listening experience, which is what you really want with headphones. It kind of like puts you in a different world. It's really weird. But on top of that, it also works very well with the Apple ecosystem. Like, for example, how I connected them to my iPhone and then they were automatically connected on my Mac, and it worked just so well with no issues with switching from my iPhone to my Mac. It's just been so very reliable, and I'm very impressed with how good these have been. So everything from the auto pause feature when you take them off your head and put them back on, it works very well, including all the buttons, the side button, the digital crown with changing the volume, all of that just works very reliably, and I'm very impressed by that. But what really surprised me was the battery life. The battery life on these things is absolutely insane. After I first unboxed them, I didn't plug them in for the first couple of days, and I was honestly surprised that, like, wow, these things are lasting that long. And in the past couple of weeks, I've literally only plugged them in 3 times, and that's not even when they hit 0%. It was like 25%, and then I would plug them in. Like, these things last forever. But on top of that, the build quality is very solid, so I don't even worry about dropping these because there's no way these would break. You just got metal everywhere compared to other plastic headphones like in the past when I would drop them and then it would crack, and unfortunately you gotta buy a new pair. I literally do not think these will crack if you drop them. And then one thing that absolutely blew my mind was the performance of the noise cancellation. It just works mind-blowingly well. Like, you can play some music, have it on, and you literally can't hear anything around you. But then on the other hand, the noise cancellation is also very good for when you just want to calm down and listen to some quiet music with the noise cancellation, because you don't hear any background noise and you just have some calm music that's not at full blast, so it just gets rid of all of the background noise. And now because the noise cancellation is so good, almost like it's too good, this could actually cause a problem while I'm at home because I do have a young son. He's almost 2 years old, and if he wakes up from a nap or maybe he falls or something like that, I won't be able to hear him. And thankfully, there is the transparency mode, which is really, really awesome because the way it works is it records your surroundings with the microphones and then it plays them into your ears while sounding incredibly natural, almost like you don't even have anything on your head. So with that said, I could just turn the volume up to around 50% and still hear what's going on in my house without worrying about something happening. So to sum up my experience over the last couple of weeks, I've got to say that I'm very, very impressed with the AirPods Max, and I don't regret spending that much money on sale, $480 on these headphones. But unfortunately, with all of that said, I think there's a chance that I may have made a mistake by buying them right now, and I'm actually considering returning them because of something that happened last week. Let me explain. If you didn't already know, Mark Gurman is the most reliable Apple leaker out there, and he was recently the guest on Mac Rumor's new podcast, where he mentioned all the new products we should be expecting from Apple. And one thing that he mentioned was that we could actually be seeing a new version of AirPods Max with new colors later this year. Yes, this year. Now this shocked me because I wasn't expecting a new version until maybe next year, 2023, but he thinks it's coming this year. And then on top of that, Mark thinks that there's actually a chance that the new version of the AirPods Max could switch to a USB-C port instead of Lightning, which would actually be a huge deal for a lot of the people out there who are sick of having the Lightning port, especially since there's a chance that the upcoming iPhone 14 Pro might come with a USB-C port. And if that happens, Apple is probably gonna get rid of Lightning across all their products, probably within a year or two. And finally, Mark says that we could probably expect to see better battery life on the new model as well. And that last point got me thinking because of a recent video I made about the AirPods Pro 2 coming with lossless audio support. And the way I think Apple's gonna do this is by adopting their new ultra-wideband technology with the U1 chip that they've been putting into every iPhone since the iPhone 11, as well as both the Apple Watch Series 6, the 7, and probably the upcoming 8. And the beauty of ultra-wideband technology is that it can potentially use 10 times less battery life compared to Bluetooth, as well as drastically reducing latency, close to as low as wired accessories. And of course, it also offers massive amounts of bandwidth, up to 675 megabits per second, compared to only around 2 with Bluetooth. So with that said, I fully believe that the AirPods Pro 2 are gonna have lossless support, just like Ming-Chi Kuo claimed a couple of weeks ago, and I think that if Apple releases new AirPods Max later this year, then they're also gonna support ultra-wideband or whatever else Apple adopts to bring lossless. And yes, that means that you're gonna be able to play high-resolution lossless Apple Music with the next AirPods Max without any wires. And because of all of that, I'm starting to wonder if I made a mistake by buying these AirPods Max over a year after they came out. And I'm wondering if I should just return these right now and wait for the new ones to come. Well, in reality, there's a chance that they're actually not gonna come this year, and then that would be very unfortunate if I returned these ones. And now that I think about it, these have honestly been so nice over the past couple of weeks that I'm actually willing to lose some resale value at the end of this year if new ones do come out and I decide to replace these with the new ones. So with all that said, I've got to say that for the full package that you're getting, especially having them work so reliably with the Apple ecosystem and of course the awesome battery life, I definitely say that they're worth it for that sale price of $479 on Amazon, and the really solid build quality means that you could keep them for the next 5 or maybe even 10 years if you don't really care about new features like lossless support, and that definitely makes these worth it. So there you guys go. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and if you did, go ahead and click the circle above to subscribe, and definitely check out my AirPods Pro 2 lossless support video right over there. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.